In this episode, guys, we're going to take care of the DSG oil cooler and the coolant in the water. So we're going to need to drain the gearbox oil, replace that, flush it out, replace it again, and change over the oil filter and the oil cooler itself. That's what's causing the issue. So we can do that in this episode. So stay tuned, guys, and we'll get this car back up and running. Milkshake. Vanilla milkshake. I wouldn't eat it, guys. So this here is the problem child. This is the oil cooler that was on the gearbox when I bought it. So it wasn't my existing oil cooler, so maybe I should have changed them over, I don't know. But there's 3 bolts to get this off, one here, 2 the other side, and obviously the 2 pipes are disconnected. So I'll get those off and then get the new one on there. Right, so here's the old oil cooler. I've got the new one here. So this new one here, get it out, is a OE one as well, but it has a slightly different part number. Go away, police. Excuse the helicopter. But this one here is exactly the same, but as you can see, has more capacity. So I think it has around 40% more coolant capacity than the one that came on the box originally. So this one here is part number and ends with a B. What you're looking for is the same part number but ends in a C instead. This is the part number that's on it at the moment, if you want to look at that. But essentially it's this part number here, but with a C rather than a B. And I'll leave the part number in the description for this one. It's slightly bigger, it all fits the same, everything all matches up. It's just this one, I think this one here was for the Mark 6 perhaps. I'm not quite sure, but it has more capacity, as you can see by how many fins it has compared to that one, if you could just see the size difference. So that should help with some more cooling and keep the box from overheating. So the oil comes either from here, flows through the cooler down to there, or vice versa. There's 2 O-rings, one sits here, one sits here. Definitely replace them when you're replacing the oil cooler, just for peace of mind. You don't have to do the job again. So you get the old ones out and get the new ones in. Get these in. You want to make sure this is sealed out. We don't want to be leaking oil everywhere. Like that. Get the new cooler. And then put the 3 bolts in. Job done. So guys, just filling up with some water, and then we'll bleed the system through, and then fingers crossed we'll get no oil contamination in the water. So we'll fill it up, bleed it, and then fingers crossed. So that's that now fixed and replaced, and hopefully that means I get no more oil or water contamination. So fill the gearbox up now, run it all through, then drain it out, put the new filter in, run it through, blah blah blah, and hopefully we'll have a working cooler and a working gearbox. Well, gearbox is working anyway, but you know what I mean, no oil in the coolant. So this is what we're putting in. It's 5 litres of this, and I'll run it through the system with the old filter on, and then I'll drain this out after about 10 miles, put a new filter in, and then replace it with another 5 litres of this. So guys, it seems I can't do anything right. I got the car back together after replacing the DSG oil cooler, got it running and filled up with water and took it for a drive, etc., to sort of bleed the system through. And I came across an issue where it was over pressurizing the coolant. So immediately I thought, okay, well maybe there's, you know, an airlock or something, and then it kind of looked like a head gasket. But then I noticed the coolant fans weren't coming on at all, so that led me to believe that it's just the fact the coolant, because when I was driving, temperatures seemed to be okay. So seems to be another issue. Don't know why the coolant fans have just stopped. I'm just in VCDS now. You can do a test for the coolant fans where you basically turn them on and nothing's happening. You do that and nothing happens, no fans turning on. And I've checked with, you can do it on the engine measurement, you can do it on the engine module, and you can also do it on the HVAC module as well, and nothing turns them on. So I also unplugged it and I hardwired the red wire to positive and the brown wire to ground, and then tried to activate either the low and high speed switches, and nothing happened. Those fans just did not turn on. So I don't know why they just suddenly stopped working. They've been absolutely fine. So all I'm going to do now is I'm just going to do another test on VCDS just to double check that the car is telling the fans to turn on. I don't want there to be another issue where one of the fuses or relays or whatever isn't working. So I'm just doing that now, and I'll just show you what I'm looking at on VCDS just for your own benefit. So here you can see I'm looking at measuring block 135 and 130. That's basically telling me that the radiator outlet temperature, so the temperature of the coolant is coming out of the radiator, that's the temperature that's of the engine, or the coolant in the engine. So you can see that the thermostat hasn't fully opened yet and it's still trying to work its way through the system. And these two are the duty cycles for the fan. So when the fan kicks in, these should go up to obviously percentage. So, you know, I expect fan 1 to come on first at some point to keep the engine cool, and then obviously fan 2 to come on after that. So I'm going to take it for a quick drive and then see if these two numbers change. If they do, then we know that everything controlling the fans is okay. It's just either the fan ECM or the fans themselves. So let's do that and see what happens. So guys, as you can see, the engine outlet is 99 and the radiator outlet is 96. So, and you can see the fan speed has now gone up. So this should be, the fans should both be on now. So we'll just go check that, and I bet they're not. And that fan's not. That fan isn't either. So I think it's safe to say we've got a dead fan, which isn't great, guys. I kind of one thing after another. It's actually booked for mapping tomorrow, so I just don't have any time to get another one. So I think I'm gonna have to cancel the mapping tomorrow, source a new fan unit, and then rebook the mapping. Problem is they're about 5 weeks lead time for mapping. So absolutely gutted, guys. I've busted my nut off over the last 3 or 4 days to do the exhaust system, to do the coolant, everything. So I'm really pretty gutted. I'm going to miss another mapping session. So we're going to be sort of mid-June, probably late June, before we get another mapping session in. So it is what it is, I suppose. You know, project cars, you know, they never quite go to plan. So well, I hope you enjoyed the journey, guys, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button. That'll make me feel better about the whole situation, and you guys get to follow along. So yeah, hit that subscribe, hit the bell, hit the like, give me a comment, cheer me up. Right, guys, so it's been a few days. I've driven the car for, I'd say, probably around 80 miles or so. So it's about time that I replace the gearbox oil again with some fresh stuff. So that would have hopefully circulated all the crappy oil with the water in it. So I'll dump that out, I'll put fresh oil in again, and put the filter in, and then I'm going to add some coolant to the cooling system because I just had water in it previously, so I want to add some coolant in there too. But the results seem to be good. Seem to be, that's definitely the problem. I'll just quickly show you the expansion tank now. You can see there, guys, there's literally just the residue left, which is not much, but that's just what's left. That's just what's left probably from whatever's in the system. So it's definitely cured. Got the new bottle on there as well, and a new cap. Also had an issue with the fans. The fans weren't turning on at all, so it was overheating. So I had to get a brand new fan assembly. So I tried the fan, just hot wiring it, and it didn't work. So I had to get a brand new fan assembly, which unfortunately meant that I had to miss the mapping day. So it got to the Wednesday, the mapping was on Thursday, got to the Wednesday, I had everything back together, I had the exhaust done, the coolant done, everything. It was driving nice, and then I noticed that it started to overheat when I was sitting at idle. So tested the fans and VCDS, some output tests, no results at all. Nothing was firing. I hot wired the fans and the fan just wouldn't turn on no matter what I did. So I must have killed the fans while I was flushing the system of some sort. So I had to, unfortunately, I couldn't get some fans in time for the mapping session because it was literally the next day. So I had to cancel that, which was mega unfortunate. As you can see, you know, for the last two videos, the exhaust video and this, I've been busting my ass to get this over the line for the mapping session. But I'm going to make sure that it's all properly up and running before I book the next session, so that we don't have any issues again, because this is the second time I've had to move it, which is frustrating as hell. But it's all running really good now. I've got a slight leak in the exhaust V-band from the housing, where I think where I've done the new exhaust, the V-band might have warped a little bit. So I'm going to try and play around with that, see if I can get that to seal properly. But other than that, guys, it's running really good. So I'm going to get the coolant topped up, and then I'm going to replace the oil in the DSG box, and then we're good to go. We'll call this one a success and another issue ticked off the list. So here's what came out. This was fresh fluid that went in, but as you can see, there's still a bit of water in there. So hopefully with the new oil, there should be much less of this milkiness. That should be good. I'll probably change the oil again in about 4,000 or 5,000 miles, just to be sure. But it should be good. So I managed to clean that as best I can. Got rid of any lumps, a little bit of staining around the sides, but it is what it is. So I'm just going to fill it up now with some G40 Extreme. So I'm just letting that drain in. I've emptied a little bit from the top of the rad, so I'm letting that drain in, and then I'll put the rest in, probably half a litre or so when that's drained through. So according to here, I need, for about 18 degrees, which is the coldest I'll ever get here, I need 33% of my system. This is a 10 litre system, and I've got 2 litres here, so it should be plenty for what I need. The last bit going in. So that will reduce the level a little bit when I've driven it around a bit. I got the brand new filter in there, and with the new oil seal as well. Get it tightened off, refit the inlet, and then we're good to go. So that's it, guys, everything's all back together. Got the new oil filter in there, everything's all back together and should be running. It's got fresh oil in there again. This is the old dirty stuff. So I need to decant that into a container, but yeah, all back together. Just about to take it for a test drive and see how it goes. So guys, I couldn't actually get an outro for this video. So I'm doing it now while I'm editing. Basically, the car runs absolutely beautiful, no issues with it at all now. Boost fine, drives absolutely fine, even better than before. So very happy with it. But I couldn't get the outro because I actually I hurt my back on the weekends. I couldn't get the outro because I just couldn't get out of the house to do it. So thanks for watching, guys, and drop a like and a subscribe and hit that notification bell to stay notified of all my new videos. There'll be another video dropping very shortly after this. I know it's been a little while since I've dropped any videos, so I've got 2 videos coming up, and this one, and then got another one dropping in a few days' time. So stay tuned for that, guys, and I'll catch you on the next one.
I know you told your friend you're not okay, and tell me what's wrong and why you never said you felt that way. And guess you're trying